Michael Jamieson was a nasty piece of work. In 1980, he tortured and killed Joseph and Catherine Herbert. He and an accomplice then killed Nathan Taylor and Leonard Mintz while robbing their store. Jamieson was sentenced to life in prison with at least 30 years to serve. He rarely received visits. His mental health suffered, and by 1991 he was in and out of the hospital wing after multiple suicidal episodes. One night, alone in his cell, he hanged himself. The coroner determined suicide to be the cause of death. Jamieson's brother appealed, arguing that the prison's neglect of the prisoner should also have been identified as a cause of death. Sir Thomas Bingham, the Master of the Rolls, went carefully through the authorities and set out a detailed series of principles for coroners. Some of the 14 principles are specific to the UK legislation, and some are specific to deaths in custody, but many are general principles which equally apply in Australia. Sir Thomas noted, an inquest is a fact-finding inquiry to establish reliable answers to 4 important but limited factual questions. The first of these relates to the identity of the deceased, the second to the place of his death, the third to the time of his death. The fourth question relates to how the deceased came by his death. He then went on to clarify the limitations of this fourth question by saying it is not the function of a coroner to determine any question of criminal or civil liability, to apportion guilt, or to attribute blame. This prohibition is fortified by considerations of fairness. However, without laying blame, the coroner is entitled to discuss the circumstances of the death with a view to making recommendations to prevent similar future deaths. Sir Thomas said, it is for the coroner alone to make reports with a view to preventing the recurrence of a fatality. It is the duty of the coroner to ensure that the relevant facts are fully, fairly and fearlessly investigated. He is bound to recognise the acute public concern rightly aroused where deaths occur in custody. He must ensure that the relevant facts are exposed to public scrutiny, particularly if there is evidence of foul play, abuse or inhumanity. All of these principles continue to guide coroners in their duties in Australia today. The court in this case declined to blame the prison for Jamieson's death.